Hey, I'm back, and back to talk about why children don't read anymore, except this time I'm going to let you know what you can do to help fix this problem going forward into the future, and how we can create a new generation of readers. So, okay, it may sound cheesy, but together we can change the world. I know, everyone says this, but it really is true in this case. There's really a lot that we can do. So, first, let's go over a few facts. So, parents and schools play a huge part in whether kids enjoy or don't enjoy reading. I talked about this much more in detail in my first two speeches, but just to give a small recap, parents are sending their kids to daycare more and more, and schools are constantly influencing kids to not read by basically punishing them or making it into a chore for reading. So, a few statistics: 26% of students under 18 read regularly today. This is coming from a study by Polyanskia in 2020, so very recent. That's only a quarter. Only a quarter. 1 out of 4 kids that you see in schools actually read on their own for fun. And twice as many kids under the age of 8 read compared to kids 14 and up. So that means kids in elementary school are still reading all right, but kids in middle school and high school are not. So that means that a lot of times when they're influenced to read in elementary school, it does not continue in middle school and high school. They drop off somewhere in those years. And a lot of that is because of technology alternatives. I'm talking about social media, TV, movies, those kinds of things. And actually, it's influencing the younger kids every year. It's influencing them more and more. Because, also cited by Polyanskia in 2020, a study in 2018, referenced by Polyanskia, talks about how 21% of 3 to 4-year-olds in America spend 2 to 3 hours a day on some sort of electronic device. That is insane, because coming from someone who didn't have a cell phone until they were in 8th grade, that's very shocking. I'm sure many of you can also relate. So, children who read do better in school. It's a fact. And that's the reason why these statistics are so shocking. Kids are doing worse in school. And that is a problem because when you do worse in school, you technically, or not technically, but you do worse in the workforce as well. Just because, just think about it. Reading is so important to just every little aspect you do. You don't really realize how important it is until you have to do something that involves a very high literacy skill that you may not have or you may be uncomfortable with, such as, a certain type of homework, like essays, things like that, or reading textbooks, reading different kinds of books, researching, that kind of thing. Stinscombe talks about this in a study from 2017 about how reading really stunts a lot of kids in their ability to perform in academics because of these reasons. And actually it was found in a study in 2020, Andrew reports on this, that they compared in Spain. In Spain, they compared 13 to 14-year-olds, some of them who read regularly on their own for fun and those who don't. Those who read for fun had an average of 0.22 GPA points higher than those who did not read, which may sound small, it's a small number on paper, but when you apply it, it's the difference between a 3.8 and a 4.0 GPA, or a 2.8 and a 3.0. Those little percentages make a huge difference when it comes to school. So what can schools do to fix these problems? Well, they can allow more reading time for the students to enjoy. Maybe have an hour of the day where they just let kids read. They can also incorporate young adult fiction into their curriculum. This is mostly for middle and high school, because a lot of the books they read are classics or critically acclaimed novels that may bore kids, may make things difficult, seem like a chore. So including books that kids can enjoy would really help this issue. And these are two things that Van Gemert talked about in study in 2018. Now, Stinchcomb also had some things to add to this, or their studies from 2017. They talked about how you can encourage, or schools can encourage, library visits or librarians to come to the school and talk to students about how to use the library and the different services they offer. Or you can give out free library cards to the students to encourage them to go to the library. Another important thing is giving students choices with their books. Like, for example, I had to do summer reading in high school. But it wasn't that bad because we were given a long list of books we could choose. So we weren't limited to just one. So we could choose whatever genre interested us and whatever we wanted to read, which was really cool. Another idea would be the mystery book giveaway, which I think is pretty cool, where teachers can wrap up a book like in wrapping paper and have a kid randomly choose one, and that's your book you have to read, or you could trade with your friends, something like that. It's pretty cool. But the most important thing that schools can do is get parents involved, because literacy really starts in the home. It's very important for parents to be interested in their kids' reading lives, because they can make a huge difference. And that leads me into my next slide, which is about what you can do, and also what parents can do. Because the next generation starts with us. I know a lot of us may not have kids right now. We're still pretty young. Some of us do, though. Some of us may be older in the classroom. But overall, the next generation starts with us. And even if we don't have kids, we may have nephews or nieces, or we may have siblings, or things like that, different family members that are younger, that you can still take steps to encourage today. You can still encourage them to read. And these things include reading to children even once they're able to read on their own. So a lot of kids are able to read by 1st or 2nd grade, and the schools tend to just stop reading to them. But it's actually really good and really encouraging for parents or people they look up to continue reading to them as they get older. Parents and the people around them can also read for pleasure, to set an example. If kids see you reading, they would want to read as well. And by the way, all of these come from Kashner's study on this. Another important thing is free time to read or go to the library, or to introduce audiobooks. Because while audiobooks, you're not looking at a page, they can still be super helpful and can encourage kids to read. And in conclusion, children who read do better in school. It's a known fact. And the thing that, children are not reading as much today as they used to. And it really is a problem. These kids are still growing up, so we haven't seen the full effects of them in the workplace as of yet. But it really is important to take these steps to encourage kids to read on their own instead of being on the electronics all day, because books really do sharpen your mind. They help you read. They help you with your schoolwork and reading and with your reading comprehension, and it really does open up a lot of doors for you and for these children going forward. Now, we talked about schools, what schools can do to encourage their kids, such as having more available reading time and giving them more freedom as to what books they read, maybe young adult novels. Parents can also encourage their kids to read by setting an example, or by just giving their kids some free time to read what they please, letting them choose the books. And you can also do the same thing as a lot of the parents, because we are the next generation. Even if you don't have kids, or you don't want to have kids someday, you don't want a family, you can still do a lot to impact others. Nephews, nieces, siblings, all these people, you can still help them. And you can still encourage kids to be better and to do better in school, and to enjoy some amazing stories that are inside books. And maybe, just maybe, we can change the world together. So, thank you for listening to my presentation, and have a nice day. Just a few references. Have a nice one.